Hi, my name is Cameron Harmon. I'm here because I've got something that I think is really rather exciting to talk about. Now, talking about business isn't always the most exciting thing in the world. However, I've been in business for more than half my life. That is, I've owned my own business for that time. And during that period of time, I've had a lot of problems and I've had a lot of successes. The interesting thing is that when you have a problem, you always want to know why. What could I have done better? What could I have done to have made my businesses more successful? What could I have done to make my businesses all kind of like they were when I had those great times? In a way, it's kind of like when you play golf. You swing away at it, and all of a sudden you get this fantastic shot, and everything just goes great. Once you've done that, you say to yourself, well, gee, if I can do that now, I can do that anytime. So you keep trying, you keep practicing, you keep playing, and it draws you back. Well, it's kind of the same thing with business. Say, when you're running a business and things go well, you think, wow, boy, this is great. I want to keep doing it. And when they go bad, you say, well, listen, I did it well before, so I'm pretty sure I can keep doing it well. So I'm going to try to do some things, try to figure out some things. I'll get it sooner or later. Well, it took me quite a while. But I did study it, did look at it, did worry about it, did think about it. And all of a sudden, something came to me. I remember when I was a student, I was in summer school. I had been doing fairly poorly. Now I turned around, gotten serious, grown up a little bit, started to do well. So I'm sitting here in my room studying, working some engineering problems. My roommate was there, and I had a visitor, graduate student, fella I had known many years before, a very smart young man. And my roommate said, hey, listen, I want to go to see this place that is new on campus. And I know you're interested. Why don't you come along? I said, gee, I am interested. I'd love to come along, but I can't. I got to do all these problems. Well, both guys came down on me. They said, you don't have to do all those problems. Well, why not? Professor told me you got to do them. I said, no, 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 you don't understand. You have to understand the principles that are behind the subject. If you understand the principles, you're going to do fine. And the way that they learned the principles pretty much was the same way for both of them. They went to class, they paid attention in the class, they took notes, they listened to what the professor had to say. And as my roommate said, look, most of the time, what the professor puts on a final exam is the same stuff that he's been telling you in class. It's not always the stuff in a book. So once you understand the principle, you understand what they're driving at, it doesn't matter what they are. So you don't have to study all of those questions. You don't have to answer all those questions. What you have to do is do enough of the exercises in the book to show yourself that you understand the principle. So if there are three problems that are based on one principle and you get the first one and you understand it, then you can skip the other two and go to the next one. If you have difficulty with one of them, then you turn around and go back to the book, go back to your notes, study it, and say, what principle is this founded on? And once you know that, it'll work for you. Well, I listened to him and I believed him, and by golly, it worked. My grades went from all A's after that. Seriously, I never had a problem after that. And I did apply that to my life a lot of times. But I never had thought of applying that to being a successful business. Once I made that leap in my mind, I began to understand an awful lot more about what it takes to make a successful business. Now, listen, what I want to tell you is how I did this But mainly what I want to tell you is what those principles are. If I can help you understand the principles involved in a successful business, it doesn't matter what kind of business you have. It really doesn't. You could be a manufacturing business, you could be in a service business, you could be in a retail business, you could be in a wholesale business, you could be an actor. I don't care. It doesn't matter. The principles, it turns out, are the same. That's why they're principles, after all. So, I've been working on that and I'm getting pretty excited about it because I darn near have it all down to the point where anybody could study these things and make value out of it. Now, you understand that I'm not talking about a get rich quick scheme. That is not what this is all about at all. What I'm talking about is how to really make a successful business if you understand how to do it and if you work at it. You gotta work at it. There is no easy way around it. Now, I will say that we all know some people who have been very successful and who didn't seem to work at it at all. And sure, that's possible because some people seem to have an innate understanding of what needs to be done. They may not be able to sit down and tell you word for word what the principles are, but they do understand what needs to be done and they do that. But for the rest of us out there who don't have that innate understanding, we have to kind of look at it and study it and go from there. If you do, however, you will be able to have a lot more stable business. So, A, I'm not predicting anything. B, this is not a get rich quick scheme. C, there are things that can happen to any business that can drive it out of business. Let's say you had a serious flood in your hometown and your retail business got just plain shut down. Well, there are some things you can do, but unless you had already done them, it's too late. You're in trouble. On the other hand, part of the principles involve taking steps ahead of time before bad things really happen. So believe me, these steps, these guides, whatever you want to call it, the basic principles involved in a successful business can really help. Now, sure, not every principle is that important. So for different businesses, some principles are more important than for other people in other businesses. That's okay. What I'm trying to do is tell you whatever kind of business you have, there are some principles here that if you study them, if you understand them, you will be able to head off an awful lot of problems and you'll be able to solve many of the rest. But there's no guarantee that you're going to solve all your problems and you're going to get yourself completely out of trouble. That just is not realistic. But for most of us, in most normal situations, it'll make life a heck of a lot easier. Now, I'm telling you all of this because I want to get you in on it before it really gets going. I'm about ready to release the guide. I won't release it, though, until I get a few more answers. In fact, I'm even asked some of you some questions about problems you've had so that I can incorporate that into this guide. In any case, if you will go to the website that I've laid out for this, it's called CSI Teach, teach as in teacher, csiteach.com, and go ahead and register for my site. And as an incentive, I'll send you a dozen free tips that can help your business right away. They're not part of the guidelines. They're just business tips for any of us who have small businesses. I will contact you 2 or 3 more times and probably give you some more information and maybe ask you for your help occasionally. But as soon as I'm ready to release the guide, you'll be right there. You'll be the first people to know. So thanks for listening to me, and I hope you take advantage of this and learn how to have a very successful business.